Well, Dubai has marked a major milestone in urban mobility with the successful test flight of its first fully electric car taxi.
Dubai is no longer just imagining flying taxis. It is building the vertiports, testing the aircraft, mapping the air corridors, and pushing toward a commercial launch by the end of 2026. If this works, everyday travel in Dubai may never feel the same again. The city that wants to lift traffic into the sky. Dubai has always aimed high. Taller towers, bigger airports, faster roads, brighter skylines. But now it wants something even more ambitious. Not just moving people faster on the ground, but creating a new way to travel above the city. In February 2024, Dubai officially announced plans to launch an aerial taxi service by 2026, turning a futuristic idea into a real government-backed transport project. What makes this different is the scale of the partnership behind it. This is not just a startup showing off a concept vehicle. Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority is working with Joby Aviation, Skyports, the UAE's General Civil Aviation Authority, and the Dubai Civil Aviation Authority. Together, they are building the aircraft system, the vertiports, the regulations, and the city integration at the same time. And this is not some vague long-term dream. From the beginning, officials said the goal was commercial launch by 2026, and Reuters later reported that Dubai expects operations to begin by the end of 2026. That is what makes this project so interesting. It is no longer a distant fantasy. It is close enough to test, measure, and seriously prepare for. If Dubai succeeds, it will not just introduce a new aircraft. It will prove that a major modern city can add a completely new layer of transport above the roads. And once that idea starts to feel real, the next question is obvious. What exactly will people be flying in? The aircraft Dubai chose is real, not just a concept. This is where the story becomes concrete. Dubai did not choose a futuristic sketch or a flashy animation. It chose Joby Aviation's all-electric eVTOL aircraft, a vehicle that can take off vertically like a helicopter, then fly forward like an airplane. It is designed to move through the city with far less noise and no traditional jet fuel burn. Reuters reported that the aircraft can travel up to around 160 kilometers and reach speeds of roughly 320 kilometers per hour. Those numbers matter because they make the idea practical. This is not a vehicle built only for short demo flights. It is meant for real trips across the city, fast airport connections, and travel between major destinations. Joby also describes the aircraft as low noise and fully electric, which fits Dubai's image of a cleaner, more modern transport system. There is also one important detail that needs to be clear. Unlike some visions of autonomous air taxis, Dubai's planned service is not being introduced as pilotless. Reuters and other reports describe Joby's aircraft in Dubai as piloted, with space for a pilot and passengers. That makes the first step less extreme, but probably more realistic for regulators and the public. So the aircraft is real, the performance is serious, and the plan is practical. But aircraft alone do not create a transport system. For that, Dubai needs a network people can actually use. The real breakthrough is the network. A flying vehicle can impress people for a moment. A working network can change how a city moves. That is why Dubai's air taxi plan becomes far more important when you look beyond the aircraft and focus on where these flights will begin and end. From the start, the plan was built around 4 main vertiports: Dubai International Airport, Palm Jumeirah, Dubai Downtown, and Dubai Marina. These are not random locations. They connect one of the world's busiest airports with some of Dubai's biggest business, tourism, and residential areas. In other words, the system is being designed around real travel patterns, not just around what looks futuristic on paper. Then, the plan moved into the real world. In November 2024, Skyports and Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority broke ground on the first vertiport near Dubai International Airport. Dubai Media Office described it as part of a wider plan to make Dubai the first city to offer urban aerial transport through an advanced takeoff and landing network. That was a major step because once construction begins, the idea stops feeling theoretical. This is what separates a cool aircraft story from a real transport system. A real system needs terminals, charging, passenger handling, scheduling, and smooth connection with the city around it. Dubai is trying to build that full structure from the beginning, and that leads to the question everyone in traffic would ask. If it works, how much time could it actually save? 10 minutes instead of 45 changes the whole idea. The strongest part of Dubai's air taxi story is not how futuristic it looks. It is how simple the benefit sounds. Leave Dubai International Airport, rise above the traffic, and reach Palm Jumeirah in about 10 minutes instead of spending roughly 45 minutes on the road. That is not just impressive in theory, that is something people can feel in real life. Dubai has repeated that comparison more than once. Skyports said the trip from DXB to Palm Jumeirah is expected to take about 10 minutes by air taxi, while Dubai Media Office used the same 10-minute versus 45-minute estimate when the project was first announced. Reuters later reported a similar estimate of roughly 12 minutes by air, pointing to the same overall result, even if the exact time may vary. This is the moment when the air taxi stops sounding like a luxury gadget and starts sounding like a useful transport tool. Dubai is a city built around movement. Airport transfers, business trips, hotel travel, tourist routes, and daily journeys between major hubs. If a trip that normally takes 3/4 of an hour can be cut to around 10 minutes, then this is not just about excitement. It becomes about time, efficiency, and how the city itself may start to function differently. But saving time on paper is the easy part. The harder part is making those flights safe, organized, and routine over a dense urban environment. And that means the next challenge is not the vehicle or the terminal. It is the sky itself. Before passengers fly, the airspace has to be organized. A city can have the aircraft and build the vertiports, but none of that matters if the air above it is not structured for regular urban flights. That is why one of the most important parts of Dubai's air taxi project is something most people will never see directly. The work to map air corridors, define rules, and create a system that can safely handle routine aerial transport. In February 2025, Reuters reported that the UAE had begun mapping air corridors for air taxis and cargo drones, while also developing the wider regulatory framework for both piloted and autonomous vehicles. The report said this process was being led through the UAE's civil aviation system, and that the mapping and regulatory framework were expected to be completed within about 20 months. That timeline matters because it fits directly with the wider push toward commercial operations in 2026. This is one reason Dubai's plan feels more serious than many other futuristic transport announcements. The aircraft is being prepared, the vertiports are being built, and at the same time, the invisible structure behind the system, the routes, permissions, and safety rules, is being built as well. Reuters also reported that Joby had applied for operational certification in the UAE, showing that this project is moving step by step through real approval processes. In the end, a real air taxi system is not just about whether a vehicle can fly. It is about whether that flight can be repeated safely, legally, and reliably. And once that starts happening, the idea stops feeling like a concept image and starts feeling like a real part of city life. The future stopped being a render and started flying. There is always a moment when a futuristic idea leaves the slideshow and enters the real world. For Dubai's air taxi project, that moment came when the infrastructure started rising and the aircraft actually flew over the city. In November 2024, Dubai officials marked the start of vertiport construction near Dubai International Airport. Then, by July 2025, Reuters reported that Joby had carried out its first demonstration flight in Dubai, including a vertical takeoff, a multi-mile flight, and a vertical landing. That changed the feeling around the whole project. Before that, people were reacting to plans, presentations, and launch dates. After that, they were reacting to a machine they had actually seen lift off, move across the skyline, and land again. The question started to shift from, "Can this exist?" to, "How soon could this become normal?" The construction progress told the same story. Skyports said in November 2025 that the DX5 vertiport next to Dubai International Airport had reached its topping out milestone, was about 60% complete and remained on schedule for planned completion in the first quarter of 2026. The company described it as the central hub of Dubai's Vertiport network, built to support commercial services with Joby aircraft in 2026. This is the stage where the project starts to feel truly different from most transport headlines. There is a city with a target date, a company with a flying aircraft, and a terminal rising beside one of the busiest airports in the world. At that point, the question is no longer whether Dubai wants air taxis. It becomes whether Dubai may soon be one of the first places where they become part of normal travel. If Dubai makes this work, cities may never look the same again. If this system succeeds, the impact could go far beyond one fast airport route. The deeper change is that cities may stop thinking of transport as something limited to roads and begin treating the air above them as another usable layer of movement. Dubai is pushing that idea harder than almost anywhere else, with commercial service still targeted for the end of 2026, a real aircraft partner in Joby, and a growing vertiport network already under construction. That does not mean everyone will suddenly fly to work right away. Early rides will likely be expensive, and Reuters noted that the first wave will probably appeal more to higher income users than to the full city at once. But that is how many transport shifts begin. They do not start as mass adoption on day one. They start by proving that a new system can work in public, under pressure, in a real city, with real traffic and real expectations. And that is why Dubai matters so much here. It is not only testing an electric aircraft, it is trying to prove that aircraft, infrastructure, regulation, and real urban demand can all be combined into one working service. If it succeeds, other cities will not just admire it, they will study it. So this story is no longer just about whether air taxis look futuristic. They do. The real question is whether Dubai is about to become one of the first places where futuristic transport becomes part of daily life. And once that happens, the skyline is no longer just something people look at. It becomes part of the route itself. Dubai is not just dreaming about air taxis. It is building the vertiports, testing the aircraft, and creating the air corridors that could make this system real by the end of 2026. If it works, Dubai may become one of the first cities to change urban travel in a completely new way. Like, share, and subscribe, and tell me, would you trust an air taxi above this skyline?